You've mentioned that we shouldn't go over ground that you've explained to us, but you've said to one journalist who asked you, could you be a spokesman for Generation X, who are a dispossessed bunch of people who don't believe in anything, you said to the journalist, well, look, could you be a spokesman for your article? So you don't like speaking for the generation, but what does the fact that you wrote this book tell us about you and your friends who you thought would be the only ones to understand it?
If I go, we can edit out the ums for a sec. It's actually a good question.
We won't be editing out the ums. But feel...
Okay, there's this, in a 1966 interview with Francois Truffaut, Alfred Hitchcock tells the story of two men on a train. Do you know this?
No.
And one man says to the other, what's that thing up in the rack up there? And the guy says, oh, well, that's a MacGuffin. Like, oh, well, what's a MacGuffin? And, well, it's an apparatus used for trapping lions in the Scottish Highlands. Well, there are no lions in the Scottish Highlands. So the other guy says, well, then that's not a MacGuffin. Ooh. And I think Generation X is the MacGuffin. It's this thing in the baggage rack that it's either there or it's not there, depending on what you want to believe.
But I think a lot of people do believe it's there.
It's kind of shocking, actually. People go like, do you like it, do you not like it? Well, it's not a matter of dislike or like, it's just, I don't believe it.
But it's tangible to people because I believe in France they call it the Génération bof, which means the whatever generation.
Oh, really?
It's another word for describing people who are a bit aimless, but are very clever.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm 42 now. It's a bit too late to be aimless for me. My brother was down in San Diego, and he was at this huge shopping mall, and there's this store called GenerationX. It's, like, massive. He showed me a photograph of it, and he said, did you know anything about that? And I said, no. And sometimes things get so far away from the roots that it just snip and it goes off into outer space. I think X is one of those things that just went off into orbit. I have no idea what it's about anymore.
Technology is a massive sort of flirtation for you, isn't it?
Well, okay. I mean, technology is what changes us. I mean, you don't hear people saying, gee, the 1360s were really different from the 1350s. What changes us as a culture and society is the technology that we adopt. And you look at what happened in the 1990s. You know, we turned all our memory and we put it onto hard drives, and the way we look at the past, the present, the future, history is all different now. There's Google, and you know, how many people here in the audience Googled today? Everybody. Yeah. You imagine even asking that 5 years ago. But then sometimes I'll be working on a project, and I'm going to Google like every 3 minutes, and at the end of the day, I'm almost burnt out on knowing everything. That, you know, maybe that's like God, how that's how God feels. Like, I'm really sick of knowing everything, and it just democratizes information. That's what I like, is the way it changes what's inside us.